to stay on my mind. Vamos para la entrevista Chase de Morro.
Well, brother, I appreciate you taking the time. Where are you right now?
I'm back home in Seattle, Washington. So I literally got done with the fight and went straight to the airport and just flew 15 hours home.
How long were you in Dubai?
I got there December the 1st, so I spent a couple weeks there and just finished like trimming down, getting on the weight, kind of exploring a little bit just to the time zone.
Yeah. Did you interact with him?
Yeah, you know, I got to run into him a handful of times, you know, even before the fight back over the summer. And then, stand-up guy, didn't really talk a lot about fighting. Obviously, he didn't really sparring or any, you know, sort of fight type of stuff because we both knew that this was in the works. But yeah, I got to see him quite a bit, you know, throughout my whole time in Dubai.
Wait, so this was in the works for how long? Because didn't you talked to me, I don't know how many months ago, you were supposed to fight someone else. I forgot who it was.
Yeah, there's so many, like the fight game is crazy because you'll get big fights and then people will bow out of it. So, you know, at some point there was like a Tommy Fury fight and, you know, the people are getting thrown across the board all the time. And obviously this one came July. They gave me an opportunity. They said, hey, we're going to give you, at first it was either Deontay Wilder or Derek Chisora. I was like, okay. Like, what? Like, can I get an influencer for once? Like, yeah. And then he calls me back. He goes, well, there's one other guy that has inquired about you, but we don't know. We don't want to tell you because I get too excited. It might not happen. I was like, oh, well, you just tell me I won't get too gassed about it. Okay, well, and okay, I called. He's interested in fighting you.
Because I was wondering how that whole thing started. It was like, I don't know how real it was. Some of this joker, like Andrew took over Misfits. I'm assuming that's not real. Or did they give him equity in it or something?
Yeah, so I think what had happened was he got like a deal basically where it was like they paid him like $50 million in cash and then he got $50 million in equity in the company. So I think he got 10% of the company. Yeah, so he got $100 million to do that fight. So fair play to him, but yeah, no, he got paid.
Wait, that fight, he made $50 million like cash in that fight.
Yeah, he got $100 million for that fight. Yeah, he came out, he's talking all about it. He made money.
Holy. I guess it's like at that point, it's like even if you have a bunch of money, you can't even say no to that. It's like, why not?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you have to look at who Entertainment is. It's like men really didn't have to get into the ring. You know what I mean? Like he can fight anybody in the world. He's got a brand. He's got a successful company. He's got, you know, controversy. He's got clout. Like why get in the ring? If somebody comes and says, hey, we're giving you $100 million to fight, you know, I give the guy credit because he could pick some random dude that, you know, sells ice cream off the street. But he's like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it all the way. So
yeah,
fair play.
Yeah, no respect. So how long have you transitioned into boxing? Because I know obviously you did the Love Island stuff time ago, and you're just doing like influencer sort of podcast stuff. And then I remember you were a little bit more overweight. And I saw you once, and you were like in crazy shape.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, bro.
How'd you transition?
Yeah, bro. It's just like part of the journey because I think when I was doing like reality TV at the beginning, I started to handle. I was coming off of like college and you know I had a lot of money for diet and nutrition. You never know. I think I was a chunky kid. Yeah. And just living the influencer life. You know, back in like 2020, 2021, they were just giving us, you know, comp meals everywhere, making all this, you know, money off of whatever. And then I started training at Dogtown, I think it's called. Was that old gym in Beverly Hills? Yeah. And Austin McBroom was in there one day. He's like, hey bro, would you want to come fight on Social Blood? I was like, yeah, love to come, you know, try it out, whatever. Gave me a fight against Corey Wharton, and then KSI and Ma'am Taylor reached out to me and they're like, yeah, we're starting this promotion. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to sign you. And they ended up signing me to come fight for Misfits just because they just thought that they could market around me. And I was just like, you know, full send for it. And so I started training full time and obviously fix your diet and get around, you know, good coaches, nutritionists, and yeah, started shedding the weight and then just got shredded.
Is it kind of your normal weight now? Or is it still a fight weight?
No, this is my normal weight. I really don't even understand how. I guess I get a lot of credit to just being younger and just have like chubby weight on from being a kid. But you know, to be honest with you, I sit around 220, 225, 230 if I'm heavier, but no more or less than that normally. And I think the most I got up to post the show was like 275. I was like, okay, I need to go on a diet.
Yeah, because I remember meeting Matt Chase. At Zoo at Old Zoo, and I was like, you're with Ari. I was like, damn, this dude's fucking. You're always tall, but you were like kind of big, like big. Not fat. You weren't like fat, but you were bigger. And then I saw you years later. I was like, this dude's shredded. And you're like, boxing. So how long have you been boxing now?
Bro, it's got to be like coming on 4 years next year. But the thing is like I did trial by fire. It wasn't like like some people when they start boxing, it's like you start when you're a little kid and you do like tournaments and amateurs and you know you develop. With me, bro, it was I got thrown right into like a pay-per-view main event, and then every fight after that was like, you know, big stage. And then I was like, you know, got to the point where I was tired of like looking sloppy on the big stage. So then I started picking up, you know, these smaller stage fights where I was fighting in Mexico and Colombia and stuff and just kind of building up my reputation that way.
Wait, so you've done fights out in Mexico and Colombia, like in the meantime?
Bro, like those fights are so crazy. I did a Colombia fight. I texted the promoter. I was like, yo, bro, can you give me a fight this weekend? He goes, well, actually, I can get you 4 fights in one day if you want. And I was like, okay, cool. He goes, yeah, just pay the fee of them, fly down here, get your hotel, and we'll get it done. You show up in the morning. They don't check your gloves. There's no commission there. There's no wraps. You literally just put on, like, most people share the boxing gloves there, and you just swapping gloves, and you just going out there throwing hands with these random Colombian dudes. You know, you fight once, you get like a couple rounds off, you go and you fight again, and you just do that 3 or 4 times, and then throughout the course of time, they'll post them on your box record, your Tapology, and now you have like this super padded record, and you just spent the weekend in Mexico and you just got 4 knockouts. Yeah, a lot of fighters do it though. Like to be honest with you, Brad, like if you go on any professional boxer's record and you go back to the bottom of it, you'll see them fighting guys that are like 0-16 or like 0-27 because what they do is like that's how they start.
Yeah, well, I always known that with boxing. I mean, there's that sort of delicate balance where like they want someone to be worth more money and they're worth less money if they have more losses on their record, right?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Jake Paul's an example of someone who took that to the craziest degree. Not that he's picked smaller, weaker boxers his whole career, but the way he's got into the space is just completely not traditional. Like this like jumping onto the grand stages because of the social media presence has been something really new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jake Paul's done something that a lot of people can't do, and like this is what Anthony Joshua also said: is there's 2 parts to the fight game, similar to anything. There's marketability and there's fight ability. And it's the same in like acting, social media, anything. It'd be like if I came to you and said, "Oh, you're really funny and you had one really viral clip," but that doesn't make you a social media influencer. You have to have some sort of market or have a lot of views, but you make no money behind it. You have to have some sort of marketability. And I think Jake Paul's like the perfect example of that, where he might not be the best fighter in the world, but he has the ability to get people to believe that he believes that, and now people are paying to watch him win, lose, or draw. No matter what he does, people are going to pay to watch Jake Paul fight, and that's kind of like the double-edged sword that professional fighters and influencer fighters are fighting right now.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. Did you watch that fight before your fight? Because it was the day before.
Bro, no, it's actually the same day. Same day, ironically, because I fought technically today at 3 a.m. for me. So the 21st at 3 a.m. or yesterday for me. I flew, so like on my time zone was a little bit messed up right now. But technically, yeah, so I fought the night of the.
Aquí hay como un debate interesante, porque Chase está hablando de que tenéis que ser bueno para vender la pelea y también tenéis que ser bueno peleando. Pero yo me pongo a pensar como parece ser, parece ser que es mejor saber vender la pelea que realmente pelear, saber pelear o ser buena. Entonces, brígido, brígido como la persona que sabe vender lo hace mejor que el que realmente es bueno. Porque es cuático cómo te podéis dar a conocer por saber venderte más que por saber pelear. Po. Entonces, de alguna manera, la sociedad lo que quiere ver hoy en día son buenos carismáticos y que se saben vender. Aunque en el ring lleguen y no hagan nada. Al final igual el 70% de la pelea es venderla, po, weón. De meses de preparación antes, para crear el hype. Entonces como el que sabe crear el hype es bacán, po. Y igual debe ser penca para un boxeador que es piolita, porque no va a crear hype, pero puede ganar, pero quizás nunca va a ganar tanto. Igual lo podemos ver como, no sé, pues, viéndolo a largo plazo o a corto plazo. Porque claro, a corto plazo, quizás Jake Paul está aprovechando, sabe aprovechar la ola y se está llenando de plata. Pero quizás uno que lo vea a largo plazo, más profesional, nunca va a ser tan espectacular, pero sí, o nunca va a aspirar a tanta plata, pero va a mantenerse boxeando. Entonces, creo yo, depende cuál es tu objetivo. Si la plata es tu objetivo, tenéis que saber vender. Si el boxeo como estilo de vida es tu objetivo, tenéis que saber pelear.
20th, which was really the morning of the 21st. Jake Paul fought at 9 a.m. that day. So I woke up, had a rehydration clause in my contract, so I had to go make weight again. I was already up, so got to catch, Jake. Go 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua, which is insane because you're famous for the whole 260 thing. That guy's 245. And he saw what he did to his jaw.
Bro,
so.
that dude. I mean, he's not only 245. He's also like an ex-world champion and Olympic gold medalist. Like that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I mean, knowing where Jake came from, to see him go from influencer to, I mean, arguably a high-level boxer. There's, people say whatever they want to say about his fights and his choice of opponents, but I think that was a fight that like you can't really say anything. It's just like bro really fought one of the best in the game.
Yeah, we have to look at it for what it is. It wasn't really a win or lose for him. A win for Jake would be if he goes the distance with a 2-time former heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist Anthony Joshua. That's the best of the best of the best that you're talking about. And even going 6 rounds with him, Jake was filming Disney Channel and YouTube videos when Anthony Joshua was winning an Olympic gold medal. So yeah. I think him lasting in there is insane as it is. And yeah, he suffered a really tough cost of breaking his jaw in 2 different places. But if you can make that ring walk, that says enough about your character and how tough you are. Because most people, 99.9% of men wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, you definitely see that. Like the reaction to the fight with Tate was in a loss. It was a little predictable to see how people, because there's so many people, because he's such a polarizing character, where people are gonna be like, I'm so glad this happened. He got humble, blah blah blah, all this sort of. But there is that part that I always find interesting on the internet. How it's always the people who would never step in a situation like that and even put themselves on the line who have the most to say.
Yeah, dude. If you saw some of these people that are sitting in their mom's basements on Twitter with Twitter fingers talking about they would do this or that, and most of these guys probably never even seen a naked girl in their life, let alone a boxing ring. And the thing with Tate is kind of going back to what I said initially is Tate is already a multi-millionaire with a brand. He didn't have to box. He boxed because he wanted to, and he got in that ring, and he could have done what any influencer that we've seen do, and it's either A, fight another really big influencer, or B, fight somebody that they feel like they could just beat the crap out of. He looked at me. I'm the number 2 pound for pound fighter on Misfits and the heavyweight champion. He said, what, I want to test our champions as the new CEO of the company, as owner or part owner of the company. And it's funny because the switch up that you see from the people on Twitter, where it's like I was the minus or plus 850 underdog, and he had like an 86% chance to win, and all these people are just hyping him up, and I'm just sat there the whole time kind of just laughing. I was like, all these numbers and Bugattis and money, like none of that is fighting for you in the ring. It's just me and you. And I think there's a super viral clip right now of me making him flinch at the press conference, and like that kind of just told me everything I needed to know, because at the end of the day, he is also a man. He also is feeling the nerves. He also feels the pressure of this. And when you get on that stage, you have those eyes and those moments. That's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, and it's almost like I mean, based on what you said, he almost has more to lose. So it kind of becomes like more. Like it might not. It's not. It doesn't mean more for you. Obviously, it means a lot for you, but it would mean more for him to lose. So like the nerves are definitely gonna be, I think, a little bit higher on that end. But yeah, I find it interesting just the way people react to the whole thing. How it's just like this. I get it because it's fighting. It is about like who win or lose. But I did appreciate what he said after, which is like the reason why he said no, I got to do it is because he did feel somewhat of that fear. Like, okay, can I actually complete this? How I think I'm gonna complete this? But going back to what people's perception of it, I think it's because there's that viral clip of you like throwing a crazy ass punch where you you sort of flailed, and then there's viral clips of him doing actual training and sparring sessions. So I think they just compared the two, which is why you probably got the sort of odds that they came out with originally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it kind of just goes to show you like people think that they know something that they know nothing about. It's kind of like when you want to talk like religion or politics or this or that with people that just base everything that they know on either A, ChatGPT or B, Twitter. And I think the thing is like Tate is the only person. He did a full camp, 3 months, and he trained really hard for it. He was tough as nails. Don't get me wrong, that guy was tough as nails. The first 2 rounds was rough, and I don't want to discredit him. And I think the thing is people will say and try to compare like, yeah, that missed swing is viral, it was funny, and Tate is a former world class kickboxer. But at the end of the day, it's like if you think that I didn't wake up and decide and make a move in my life that I was going to improve from this, then you guys are fools. You shouldn't be running a bank. That'd be like if I came to you, Brad, and I was like, hey, when you were 15, 16 years old and you can't bench 315 or 375, and then they show me a clip of you not being able to do it, and you're 17 anymore. You should be able to clear that with absolute ease. You know what I mean? And I think people are just quick to jump the gun, and yeah, and it was kind of just funny because I spent last like 15 hours looking at all the save tweets over the last 3 months, and people saying I'm gonna get starched, and you got guys like Aiden Ross and Neon and all these guys saying I'm not gonna last a round in there with them. And it's just funny because if I didn't like Tate, I generally I think the guy, whether you say whatever you want to say about him, I think I resonate with some of the stuff he says, and so if I didn't like him, I could go on the internet, I could post this clip or me doing this to him, or replying to this. But it's like I think in the fight game there's a level of respect that people don't talk about, and I think it's like this if you fight anybody. Once you fight somebody, I think it clears a lot of tension, it clears a lot of air, and I think you can kind of gel from it because at the end of the day, it's just two men getting in there doing sport, like the truest form of competition, and that's just scrapping it out. So.
Yeah. All right, guys, quick run for the podcast. Factor meals. Listen, the New Year's coming. Everyone goes New Year, new me, and they never change anything. The number one thing you need to change in order to get the physique, to lose the body fat, to build the muscle is your diet. You can spend all the time in the gym you want, be an expert trainer, do all the science-based, whatever you want to call it. But if you're flopping on your diet, you're gonna be flopping on your physique. I guarantee it, I promise. Tried and true. There's no way around this. Okay. So go to factormeals.com/rawtalk50off and use code rawtalk50off, and they're gonna give you 50% off your first package plus free breakfast for a year. The best meal of the day, easily the best meal of the day, free for 1 year. Okay. Again, go to factormeals.com/rawtalk50off. Put in code rawtalk50off to get that discount right now. I promise you, food is the number one thing when it comes to losing weight or building muscle or any goal. And Factor Meals has a bunch of different meal plans you can choose from. It's all super easy. Basically, just heat the food up. There's not a lot of bullshit ingredients. Personally, just so you guys know, I'm a big fan. I just reheated it on the stove. Like I will not put it in my microwave. Get into that conversation right now. But if you guys want to check it out, go to factormeals.com/rawtalk50off. Put in code rawtalk50off to get it right now plus free breakfast for 1 year. Let's get back into this spot with Chase. Well, let's talk about that. You kind of mentioned you resonate with some stuff. And you finished that fight and you said something very heartfelt about Tate specifically and his influence in your life.
Acá está a lo que quería llegar, que en la pelea cuando termina, Chase dice que Andrew Tate lo sacó de un suicidio, así que esta parte la vamos a ver y encuentro interesante que se metan más en profundidad, así que vamos con esto.
More specifically, not taking your own life, and you said that he helped you. What did you mean by that exactly? Besides the obvious, like my question is, I haven't talked to you enough to know about your past troubles, mental health issues, or anything. But I'm curious, what of his sort of content, or did you have communication with him, or what helped you at what point in your life?
I remember, obviously social media is a very mean game. There's a lot of just trolls on the internet that just come at you, and it's like, I would say social media is probably one of the most depressing jobs because we play a game of numbers and relevancy, and I think that when you do something, everybody just has a go at you. And coming from where I come from, I was a chunkier guy back then, so I was getting made fun of, not being the most aesthetically pleasing reality TV star, and then had the cockroach flying on my face, and then it topples in, you switch sports and you do boxing and you have the viral missed swing. And I just every day, no matter where I went, whether it was in Australia or Spain or wherever I was in the world, people would just show me this clip and they're just laughing, and it was in person and on the internet, and I was just constant, just digging myself into this deeper hole, and you go to some really dark places, Brad, and in my head I'm like, I don't really see a way out of this. It's just, am I gonna live the rest of my life just constantly being attacked for going out and trying my best and failing? And
aquí habla que le hacían bastante bullying y se preguntaba, pues como, puta, toda mi vida va a ser así, que salgo e intento hacer algo y se ríen de mí por fallar, ¿cachai? O sea, si siempre va a ser así, digamos, puta, ¿qué sentido tiene?
Having that failure be broadcast across the world just because I put myself in a position where I've become such a public eyes on me, and it brings you to really dark places, and you start contemplating taking your own life, harming yourself, and I started, you take heavy medications. I was taking like opioids, like sleeping medication, just hoping like I don't wake up, and I'm tired of this. And I just remember one day, I was leaving the gym, and Andrew Tate, he pops up on one of his speeches, and he comes on there and he's just like preaching about how men are tough, we're built different, we're meant to struggle, and that's what makes a man, is you build character, and you have these character developing moments, and that's what makes you desirable, is because you have these hardships and it hardens you. And I listened to this, and it changed from I'm gonna end it all today to, well, maybe I'll just give it one more day, maybe I'll
Brigio dice que vio un video de Andrew Tate así como motivacional, y dice que el hombre es atractivo porque sufre, y a través del sufrimiento crea un carácter, pues bueno. Y ahí dice que él dijo, puta, termino todo hoy día o me doy un día más, pues bueno. Ya generar esa pequeña duda, weón, ya te salva.
Go up to the gym the next day. Maybe I won't, read too much into, Reddit or the comment sections, and just keep showing up, and it turned in, let's see if I can go 2 days, let's see if I can go 3 days. And I just remember every day when I was having these hard moments and I couldn't get past it. He's done, you know, so many of these speeches and some of these podcasts. I was popping back on. I was just listening to this guy, and then he starts talking about you should be in the gym. You should have people criticizing you. You should do this because this is what's going to make you stronger. And I just remember every single day I'm just showing up at the boxing gym, and I'm like, Pop D is saying, you know, I'm doing this right. I'm okay right now. I'm young. I can bounce back from this. And there's no bigger form of a coward than somebody that has a hard moment and then just kind of just gives up on themselves. And I knew, and Top G knew, as long as you don't give up on yourself, then you know anything's possible.
Yeah. And so this was before you ever met Tate, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I never even met the guy. I never thought I would meet the guy. He's over off in Romania, Dubai. I don't even know anything about him. Like this is when he was first coming into the media scene. He became the most Googled man. And I remember I followed him on Instagram. And I was getting a ton of hate on Instagram. He's like, why are you following Tate? He's misogynistic. He's this and that. And then it's like, I didn't know what people were talking about. And so you Google search the guy and you listen to what he's saying. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I haven't really heard anything that he said that I don't entirely agree with. So, you know, I would listen more and more and more, and he started becoming more and more famous. But what's crazy is the more that he would talk and the more people would talk about him, the more he was in, you know, like obviously Piers Morgan and all these other podcasts. And the things that the guy was saying, I felt like he was talking to me. And it's one of those moments where it's like everybody has somebody in their life, and it just takes one person that can change your whole life. And he was one of those people that I heard just preaching about, you know, being strong, being confident, building on yourself. And, you know, it just, like I said, it turned into just make it one more day, just make it one more day. And, you know, it turned into, you know, a lifetime for me.
Yeah. And so in regards to Tate, and then we'll talk about like your past more so, but in regards to Tate, once you met him and you had conversations with him, because I've done interviews with him. I've met him in person multiple times. I've talked to him on and off camera. Is he the same person that you thought he would be in person that he was on camera?
It's such a tough question because at times I want to say yes, but at times I want to say no. If I said to you, like, is he the same person that you put in front of a podcast mic and say go off on people? No, I don't think he's that person. But if you go to him and you have a conversation with him deeper than surface level, he is fully that person. Like he believes these things. He believes that, you know, what it means to be a man, very masculine thing. And he made me realize a lot about myself. And when I met him in person, at first, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a dickhead. He's surrounded by all these security guards and like, you know, you're just like a micro influencer compared to him. And he was very welcoming. You know, I met him in Vegas at Power Slap. I took a photo with him for God's sake, and super nice guy. And then, you know, fast forward even, you know, a year later, you know, I got an opportunity to meet him in Romania. I met him in England, and he was just always like such a stand-up guy. And what's crazy about Tate is even the people that I've met that know Tate, they're always like, oh yeah, I got his number. He always, you know, messages me happy birthday. He genuinely like cares. And I'm sitting there thinking like, there's no way that the guy that I'm fighting, this superhuman, this top level influencer, can be such a down-to-earth guy. And I just remember that first conversation I had with him. I was like, wow, like guy shows up, offered, you know, pay for the whole dinner, you know, had a great conversation with him, talked about life, and yeah, he just got up and went back to his normal day-to-day thing.
Yeah. Yeah, my experience was similar. I remember we did a pod in Dubai, and I spoke to him for like an hour off camera. And yeah, the reason why I'm highlighting this is I do find it interesting how, even how you said earlier about the sort of outside pressure of social media and what people think of you and not really knowing who you truly are. Obviously, they can only make assumptions based on like what you put out and what you post. But there is that thing, the clipping culture, where when someone wants to paint a narrative or draw a narrative around someone, it's very easy for them to do so based on like just this individual clips. And I think he got his sort of like polarizing character just because they'll take these, you know, polarizing moments and then clip them up and isolate it and go, oh, he said that, look, he said that, it's bad. Because yeah, when I had him in the gym, I remember I obviously got a lot of love, but I would get obviously all this hate where it's like, oh my God.
Bueno, ahí eso era lo que me interesaba ver, así que nos vemos.